Hi, my name is Ahuva Zeloof. I am a London-based sculptor. Welcome to my studio. My love affair with the East End started many years ago in the 70s. At that time, this area was mainly warehouses, storage, and wholesale businesses. About 10 years ago, almost retirement age, I was finally able to focus on the things that I love most, which is art and creating things. I have been in this studio since then, and as you can see, it's big. Shared space with the Truman Brewery maintenance team, which is great because I get to use loads of materials and machinery that I wouldn't normally have access to. And another thing is, the stones are heavy, and if I need shifting, someone is always there to help. My days are always full. At my age, I have achieved a lot of titles, including a grandmother, artist, cook, and a yogi. I have a space like this where I can escape from the real world into my own. It's a real privilege and a blessing. It's great to have the space where I can make a mess and experiment with different material. It's also a space where I can close the door behind me at the end of the day and leave it behind. Having said that, I sometimes like to take the pieces home to see them in a different light and environment so I can observe them and get used to them. It can help promote new ideas or solution to how to move forward on a sculpture. My studio divided roughly into 4 areas. The first area is my thinking area. The second is my hard table. The third is the soft table. And the fourth is the metal storage. Even though the studio is quite dusty with lots of material equipment, it feels quite messy and some section just for storing some stuff. It is always important for me to have this corner where I can relax and think, which is why I have this armchair here. Next to it, I have a section of books featuring artists that inspire me, from Rembrandt to Dali via Modigliani. I usually take my break here with a cup of tea or coffee. Evolution one that you see here on its wooden stand, it's an important piece to me as it is one of my first elaborated hand-carved sculpture. I named my first solo exhibition after it, which is called Evolution. It's carved from a green tile stone, and it was the first of a series of 4 sculptures called Evolution 1, 2, 3, and 4. Having said that, I like the transformation of the sculpture cast in different materials like bronze and colored glass, as it looks totally different but still retain its original shape. This first table is my carving table. It has all my stones and carving tools on. You can see there are lots of sculptures in different stages of creation. Some are raw stones, some are chiseled and polished, and there are a few finished sculptures that are ready to have in rubber molding. I come here and sometimes I work on a piece constantly, figuring out a shape or just carving vigorously through the stone until the outcome I want is there. And sometimes, without realizing it, a whole day has gone by. During the lockdown, I could not work in my studio. So I had some stones delivered to my garden where I worked on them almost vigorously, obsessively, without realizing. A whole month had gone by and 5 new sculptures had appeared. The 2 stone sculptures you can see here on my hard table were part of that series. As I wasn't able to physically go and see the stones and choose them, I didn't know what I'm going to get, what they're going to look like. Many of them had this distinctive white veining, while probably I wouldn't have chosen them in this effect. I wanted to utilize the effect in these tones and make a statement that I felt was important at that time of creating, that the imperfection in things are beautiful. They features in my 3rd solo exhibition titled Imperfection. Oh, the next table is the soft table, which is for evolving sculptures. Sometimes I need a break from stones. Carving can be physically exhausting, and other time I feel stuck mentally. I just need some times away from the sculptures to see it from a different perspective. During this period, I turn my attention to different subject matters or series of sculptures. Working on my movement sculpture featuring women in yoga poses is such a more relaxing process, both mentally and physically. I tend to work with wax and wire armature that I make myself, and slowly add bits of wax on them with my fingertips to create the figures I have in mind. The boxes on this table are filled with found objects that are part of my new project I'm working on, where I place them in scenes. On this table, the main tools I work with are my bare hands, and sometimes I use small shaping tools that I use in pottery. The last section of the room is the metal storage shelves. They house all the mother molds made from plaster that have the rubber molds in the sculpture nestling inside them. I actually find the shapes of the mold with their random holes visually stimulating. The three pieces at the back on the bench here are all sculpture titled Me in different mediums. So originally it was a hand-carved piece in stone, but seeing the transformation from stone to bronze and from bronze to glass, and sometimes I find fascinating. The glass is always especially interesting to me to see. The fact that it's fluid material and then becomes hard and heavy but remains transparent is almost magical. It's so strong but fragile. There is something mysterious about it. Thank you so much for viewing this video. And if you have any question or want to keep up to date with my work and exhibition, please go to my website www.ahuvazeloof.com.